generated $128,000 in the last 6 months building and selling AI systems. But here's the part that might piss you off a little bit. I'm not even that technical. 6 months ago, I was like every other AI agency owner, spending weeks perfecting complex automations that nobody wanted to buy. My N8N portfolio was impressive with tons of projects, but my bank account was empty. Then I discovered something that completely changed everything. The money isn't in building the perfect AI system. It's in finding the right way to offer that system, the right market that wants it, as fast as humanly possible. So I started building an offer testing machine. Every week, I'd come up with 5 different AI offers and blast this out through cold email to tens of thousands of people in different markets. So different angles, different markets, different price points, different offers, just rapid fire testing to see what actually made businesses pull out their credit cards. Today, I'm showing you how to do the exact same thing. So let's dive right into it. So the first part is setting up the cold email system. And once you have cold email running, you warm up a bunch of inboxes. This is where you want to get started on offer creation. So you want to split test offers as fast as humanly possible. There's different offer creation frameworks. I teach them in my community. You can learn them yourself if you want. It's the value proposition design framework and Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers framework and value equation. So this is the first value creation, offer creation framework. There's different books. This book, Value Proposition Design, I read it, first like 5 years ago, multiple times since then. And you're basically using this to come up with what are the pains, the gains, the jobs of your customer to help you craft out your offer. And to create that offer, it's going to look something like this. You're going to identify all of the different gain creators, pain relievers. You can do this for AI offer, and it helps you really figure out how to clarify that offer. Then you can, identify markets that are going to do this. I recommend using AI. So I've written some AI prompts that will help you, go and paste it into Claude and say like, here's your experiences, your past experiences, what types of companies you worked at. I recommend starting in markets that you already have experience in because you already understand them a little bit. You know how to speak with them. You know how to reach out to them. And then what you want to do next is you want to rapidly split test campaigns and copy angles. So the more rapidly that you can split test these campaigns, the better, because ultimately the person that's going to win is the one that has, using these offer creation systems. They're not just like, starting from scratch with nothing. They're using these offer creation systems to come up with, 20 different offers, maybe come up with 5 new offers a week. And then, that was really bad. And then once you come up with 20 different offers, maybe after that, you're going to go and test it on 10 different markets. So what is that? 200 different campaigns. So let's just say we have, 10 offers that we come up with. Then we have, let's just make it simple. Let's just say we have 5 different markets. We can basically write 10 different, offers and 10 different email campaigns. And then we can duplicate it across 5 markets, which gives us, 50 different campaigns that we can run. We're split testing on each of these campaigns. Just think about that. You're testing, if let's say you have 3 split tests on each campaign, 50 times 3, you're having 150 different variations of emails being sent out. You're going to win. Like, this is how you win. Then once you do that, maybe 10 out of those 150 are, killer emails and the rest suck. Then now you have 10 emails that work, and now you can just feed in tens of thousands of leads into those emails using, automated AI lead generation systems. And then you're basically just getting clients, you're getting appointments on autopilot. And so once someone replies, then you will go and set that appointment. So maybe they reply, I'm setting all my emails in Instantly and Smart Lead. Once they reply, you'd say, yeah, would love to share more about this. Does 10 a.m. tomorrow or 3 p.m. Wednesday work for you? If not, here's my calendar link. So this is essentially, maybe you do a little bit of objection handling within the email. Like someone's like, well, what about this thing? Or do you offer this thing? So maybe you do a little bit of objection handling, but ultimately your goal is to get them on the call, because that's where you can actually sell them. And getting them on a call is getting them more invested. And obviously there's a process where you're building trust, you're building that relationship. And this is what I teach in AI Entrepreneur University. But the essence of it is this. You are, creating all these campaigns, you creating all these, offers, markets. You have a bunch of split tested campaigns with different, campaign copy, different angles. And then once people start replying to you, this is where you actually go and you set that appointment using a framework like this. And then for anyone that books an appointment, you have, automated nurture sequences. using cow.com to basically make sure that they're getting emails saying, hey, your appointment is, thanks for booking your appointment. Hey, your appointment is tomorrow in 24 hours. Hey, your appointment's in an hour. You want to make sure they show up to that. And then on the sales call, this is how you run the sales call. So you've created the cold email campaigns, created the offers, you started booking appointments with the system. You start out building rapport, being really friendly, and then you pretty much ask them like, yeah, like, hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm from, whatever, the US in this area. And then, oh yeah, I really like that area. That's really cool. So you're just building rapport, being friendly. And then you're saying, so yeah, tell me why you booked the call. I would love to hear more about your business. This is literally all you have to start with. It's nothing crazy. And then as they are giving you that answer, your goal is to ask as many questions as possible. You're trying to keep them talking as long as possible, because the more that they talk about themselves, about their business, the more that they're opening up to you, building trust, right? And you want this to be authentic. I'm not saying like, do this to like get a sale as fast as possible. Like if they're not a good person to work with, you should say no to them. Like you only want to, there's, last week, I think I said no to probably 10 different companies that wanted to work with me. Cause I'm just like, yeah, like it doesn't seem like you have the money. Just the way that they're showing up on some of these calls just feels like, it wouldn't be a good client relationship that I want to work with. And I'm very hesitant to take on bad clients right now, but this is where you qualify them. After you start asking them the questions, asking them about their business, the next step is like, okay, like tell me about your business. What is your revenue? What are your current, AI marketing systems? Are you using AI in your marketing systems at all? No, you're not. Tell me, or you are a little bit. Tell me about that. How has that been going for you? Have you been seeing ROI? You're answering all of their objections. They'll say like, well, what about your system? Why does it cost this much? Well, the reason it costs this much, we've run it for 10 different people. Here's the results. I'm going to show you the demo. Here's all the testimonials. Here, let me screen share you and I'm going to screen share and show you a demo of what we've actually built for other clients, what we'll build for you. All right, here's the next steps. I'm going to draft up the proposal. I'll send it right over. And then you have a system, proposal generation system, or you just do it yourself using PandaDoc is what I use. And then you go and you send it off to them. And then, you just follow up with them. So a couple days later, how does that work? Have you reviewed the proposal? Let me know if you have any questions. And one of the things you can do is on this call, if they're qualified, you try to schedule the next call before that call ends. So it's like, hey, seems like this could be really good. I'll send over the proposal tomorrow. Let's schedule another call like in the next 3 days, in the next week, to basically go over that proposal and see if you have any questions. Does, Friday at 10 a.m. work for you? Awesome. All right. So I put it on your calendar. I'll see you Friday at 10 a.m. You'll get the proposal from me in the next 24 hours. And so one of the biggest shifts that I personally had is I was reading about like different like sales books. I'm not great. I didn't start out being great at sales. And so I had to learn it. This was the most difficult skill that I had to learn growing this agency. And I basically realized that introverts are actually better at sales than extroverts. It sounds very counterintuitive, but the reason an extrovert isn't good at sales is because they talk too much. They talk about themselves. If someone says, yeah, my system does this, we just did this. If you're talking the whole time, there's no rapport being built. There's no like that trust, that client relationship is not actually forming. But an introvert, the reason introverts are actually better at sales, and this was a huge mindset shift for me, is like, as someone that has identified as an introvert in the past, I've become really good at listening, of asking the right questions, of listening, of really tuning into what they're saying. Oh, so you said that. Is this what you mean? Can you clarify that for me a little bit? Oh, interesting. So you haven't yet done marketing systems. Tell me more about this. And the focus is on asking the questions and letting them speak, not on pitching your product and, talking a ton. And so once that happens, you have something like a proposal generation system, auto-generate the proposal. You have a Stripe link integration on the back end of PandaDoc. So as soon as they sign the proposal, they'll get the payment link. This is the easiest way to basically invoice them. And then you're essentially taking that sales call transcript and you're either adding it to your CRM, so you have that data, that notes in your CRM, but you're also taking that sales call transcript. You can use that to actually go and generate the proposal. So whether you grab it manually from Fathom or Otter, or whether you build out an automation, doesn't really matter. But you're taking that proposal and you're using it, put it in Claude, create a proposal generation project if you want. It's a little bit easier to build than a completely automated system. And you have it go and generate that proposal for you. And then on the second call, you're reviewing the proposal, asking them if they have any questions, showing them the demo again. You're handling objections. Ideally, and your offer is so compelling and great that you have risk reversals, guarantees, case studies. If you don't, I'll show you how to pitch that in AI Entrepreneur University. So inside of the program, we essentially have an entire module on Here's how to focus on pain points, dream outcome, obstacles, solutions. And then inside of the offer creation, we have here's your value stack. Here's your different here's the different components of your offer, so you can ensure that you have risk reversal psychology, you have urgency, you're stacking different amounts of value, you're adding in bonuses, you're creating all the components of a great offer with guarantees, with urgency, with risk reversal, to ensure that the value perception is crazy. Like some people, like the worst mistake you can make is, hey, I build AI automations. That's the worst positioning on this planet. But to say, I build this system for this person, here's the specific things that we do, it only costs this much upfront. We have a risk reversal. If you don't get X thing in Y amount of days, then you get your money back, or we'll work for free until you do. Here's a bunch of case studies of people that we worked with. Here's the next steps. If you're ready to get started, here's exactly what you need to do. Just sign the proposal and you'll be prompted to pay. And then as soon as you pay, we'll kick off with an onboarding call. The onboarding process looks like this. I'll give you a form. You fill that out. That'll give us information to kick things off. And then as soon as you fill that out, we'll have, the entire call will be structured to accomplish this objective, and will really, push us towards building out in that system. And so this, as soon as they sign, that triggers the onboarding sequence. And this is basically the process. This is the exact process that I've used. Rapidly testing offers, appointment setting, the 2-call sales call close framework, and having a proposal generation system, and then closing them and kicking it off, and then having a productized service. AI sales infrastructure is what I sell, my productized service. Yours might be different. AI recruiting infrastructure, AI operating systems infrastructure, AI AI marketing infrastructure, whatever it is. The sales process is the same, and I've used this to scale from 0 to 128K in the last 6 months. And you can do the same if you follow this exact process. And so thank you so much for watching. I hope you found value from this video. And there will be a lot more like this. I'll be coming out with a lot more videos related to this process. But again, if you want to learn like in depth with other people with live Zoom calls, inside of the community, we run through the exact sales process from start to finish, from setting up the cold email campaigns, from offer creation, email psychology and copywriting, how to run the sales calls, etc. But if not, you can absolutely do it on your own as well. And so I hope this was valuable to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next